What's going on, everybody? My name is Seth and you're watching 252 Squad, and in today's video I'm going to be going over my 2013 Ford Mustang GT 5.0 6-speed, and I'm going to be explaining 5 things that I genuinely kind of hate about the car. So let's get into it.
1, 2, 3!
Now, before I really get started, I do want to say that I actually hate absolutely nothing deeply about this car. There's just a few things that I dislike strongly. Before I also get even into that, I just want to mention that this is a 10-year-old car that is now 2 generations of Mustang old. It's getting old, but it has a lot of good features and qualities about it, but it's still old, and the interior definitely shows, and that's where we're going to start at. All right, now that I am in the interior of the car, the first thing that I do want to talk about that I do not like about this car, and this is in no particular order except for this one. This one is number 1. I hate this the most. That is the fact that the cup holders are right behind the shifter. So if I take my arm here, as you can see, it goes directly over top of the cup holder. So if you're shifting through gears, you know, with no cup holder or no cups in the cup holder, it's fine. You just close the lid, bang through some gears. But if you have, say, anything besides a Coke can in here, you gotta do a little bit of that right there to go through the gears, and it sucks tremendously. And I know what you might be thinking. All the new Mustangs have the exact same kind of design. Even my dad's New Edge Mustang has the same kind of design with the cup holders being down here near the shifter, but it's not as bad as the S197 is. Like, I genuinely don't understand what they were thinking with this design on this one, because it's so just in the way. It is perfectly in line with the shifter, and like, you have no other way to go around it besides to put your hand there. I guess if it's an auto car, it's not that big of a deal, but the manual with the MT82, it's horrible design there. I hate it so much. In long drives and stuff like that, and if I'm alone, I just leave the cups in the passenger seat because there's nothing there. I wish it just, why is it right down there? Why can't you just angle it? Just shifter here, cup holders here, just a little bit of difference, and it would have made a world of difference in this case. Next one, still in the interior of the car. That's where a majority of this is going to be. I guess you could say this is partially on the exterior, and underneath of the car is this bad boy right here. This transmission right here can be atrocious at a lot of points in time. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you are a car person and you all know the infamous MT82 problems. It is like the worst part about a 5.0 Mustang with a 6-speed, besides Mach 1s and other ones that came with Trimix. It just isn't very good. It's a clunky transmission. I've driven Mach 1s. I've driven other Mustangs with TR6060s, T56s. Even just my dad's Tremec 5-speed and his New Edge Mustang shifts so much better than this thing. It feels so clunky, especially in the cold, in the morning times. Sometimes you have to like sit there and just like into gear sometimes, and it makes no sense why it's like that. This is just a good reference of like what it's like in the morning, 40 degrees. You put your clutch in, and then you just gotta sometimes, and this car isn't like high mileage or anything. This car only has 47,000 miles on it. Like, why is it, and like, it feels so weak. Like, when I'm like really ripping on the car, I'm like, and like, you can just like, it feels like the shifter's gonna fall apart, like the whole linkage. And part of that is due to the fact that the shifter housing is mounted to the body of the car, and then has another linkage that goes down into the transmission. So it's almost like a 2-piece shifter here, and you can just tell how much slack and play is in it, especially when the transmission and the engine's underloaded at like right near 7,000 RPMs. You can tell that everything's twisting, and the transmission shifter here is still staying in the same place. And so when you go to hit gears, you can just almost like that in order to get it to go into gear, and then it feels like the shifter's going to explode. The next one's going to be short and sweet because it's going to be hard to see because it is dark outside, and the car has a little bit of stuff on the windshield, but it is this dash, right? So if you look up here, you can see that the whole way across is this texture design. It's kind of like a really cheap faux leather feeling stuff. It's the whole way across the dash on both sides of the vehicle. Well, the problem is, on very sunny days, if you look up here at the windshield, it will reflect this pattern off onto the windshield here. As you can see, my hand's reflected, and during the daytime, it will reflect so bad off onto this windshield that you almost cannot see forward out of the car. Like, I know we joke on Camaros as Mustang owners about not being able to see out of, but this sometimes can be so annoying and so blinding looking forward that it's ridiculous. Like, I'll be driving down the highway and I'll be like looking over here or like looking over here to try to see forward because the glare is coming in reflecting this onto the windshield, and you just really can't see forward out of it. The next part that I do not like about this car is how many times you Camaro owners see this point of view. Just kidding. So the next point coming on to the outside of the vehicle, just to show you a little bit, is the fact that it is 10 years old. The engine was developed in 2011, and it's a little bit underpowered. I'm not going to say that it is slow. It is a 420 horsepower V8 with a 6-speed manual. It will kill you and put you into a crowd in like 0.2 seconds. I will not lie about that. But compared to newer things that are out there, this thing gets walked a lot. Like, it's kind of surprising. Like, a good tuned GTI will actually put buses on this thing. I will not lie to you. It's a little saddening because you hear the V8, the coyote noise sounds good, rolling through the gears. If you're out by yourself, it feels really fast. But as soon as you line up to pretty much anything a little bit more modern, especially anything with the automatic, you are a MT82 car, you tend to actually lose races. I know it sounds bad as somebody who's finally admitting it. I am slow, even though the car is not slow, but it does end up losing a few races. That is one thing I do not like, but it's an easy fix, what we're gonna do on this channel. But also, if you're winning a race, I mean, look at this point of view. Like, I mean, like, you can't even be mad. Like, looking at that in your rearview mirror looks beautiful. Now, the fifth and final thing that I do hate about this car is moving back into the inside. And that is actually something that's kind of funny that I did like it originally about the car, but as it's gotten a little bit more usage done to it, I don't like it as much, and that is the sound system. Now, coming into the car, as everything powers on and it does its Ford chimes, you can see that my car here is a shaker car. So that means it doesn't have a cheap sound system. You see speaker here, subwoofer there. It does have some speakers and subs and stuff in the back of it. And it doesn't do very well. Like, it rattles a lot. I think these subs may be blown already after 47,000 miles of usage. And that's not like I have like the bass turned all the way up or anything like that. They've just gotten worn out. And as you can see here, this is a little bit outdated too. I will not lie. This is how you get to your Bluetooth, and then you can tell it is not, you know, of the newer stuff. As a Ford tech, I can tell you that this is way outdated, but it probably works better than the new stuff. If you come here, of course, my maps are older and they don't look as good, and it's just the sound system on this car isn't the greatest, and that's easily fixable. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that the best sound system on this car is this right down here. Heck yeah, brother. But no, in all seriousness, with it being a shaker car and as many options as it has, it is a fully loaded GT Premium. It is a little underwhelming as far as the sound system goes, and a little bit of the infotainment system of the vehicle as well. But at the end of the day, if you just look at this thing, golly, it is gorgeous. Every part of it, the exterior wise and interior wise, just kind of gets made up for by just like the looks of the S197. Like, man, that angle right there is like every Mustang owner's like dream right there. I love this car so much just because the way it looks, the way it drives like a true muscle car. Like, man, this thing is... I'm gonna have to make a whole nother video about 5 things I love about it now. Well, everybody, that's pretty much gonna be it for today's video. Just going over a few things I dislike about my S197. There really isn't that much. It was a kind of hard list to go about. It's just really the older stuff that makes the car older versus like an S550 or 650 and just more modern cars. But otherwise, it's really a great car. I love it so much. I'm definitely making another video about 5 things I love about it. But anyways, guys, if you're ready to see this thing get faster, like I mentioned, a little slower than right now, but let's see it get faster. You want to see all that stuff going on, just more Mustang content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out and see you next time.
Hey, where you at?